Get ready to be inspired and entertained. Join me, your host, Debra Coco, on Just Give Me the Mic, which is a vibrant talk show where creativity shines. From local artists to world-renowned musicians, authors, poets, and community leaders, we dive deep into the stories that shape our culture. Whether it's a captivating author or visionary movie director, every episode is packed with engaging interviews and insightful conversations. So tune in and let me give you the mic. Uncover the voices that matter right here on Just Give Me the Mic.
To all theaters everywhere. How about that? Y'all
That's
like
right.
that?
That's right.
All right, let me welcome my guests. We got Reef Hustle in the house, and we have Mr. George Bell. Both gentlemen are here to talk about what they're doing together collaboratively. And we're going to get into a little bit of the individual story as well, because one story has me totally pissed off, but I'm happy that, and we're going to talk about some music. We're going to talk about some film. We're going to talk about this new collaboration that's going on and what's happening now today. How y'all feeling tonight?
Feeling good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm so. Yeah. Come on,
Reef.
I
know, but
come on, like.
Thank you for having us.
I know. I appreciate you for joining me. Mm-hmm. Now, if y'all seen some of my previous shows in the past, I had one interview with Reef by Zoom during COVID.
That's right. That's
right. With Big French. She was doing music with him at the time. So that was a great interview also. And I think we've done like some interviews on the spot. Might have showed up at a club and I'm like this with the mic, right? And got a little, shout out or something from you. So I'm happy to have you back on. I see you all over social media. I'm always sharing the videos, liking, putting fire emojis. I'm like, I'm like a fan. I be fanning out over here. You know what I'm saying? Because I know him. He's a good dude. You know, and I know you passionate.
Absolutely.
About the music. I remember the whole Fred the Godson run that you had. Rest in peace to him.
Even with Big Pun.
I was about to see. I was about to say that. So I've watched.
Yeah.
I've seen you do your thing, and I'm loving the look for today. Like this is like real special right here.
Yeah. That it is.
Yes. And Mr. George Bell, just being introduced to your story. First of all, it's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to start off with your story, and then we'll get into the collaboration, right?
No problem.
So I read the article, 19 years old.
Yes.
You and two friends.
Yes.
Were out, and you've actually got accused of doing something terrible. I'll let you tell the story.
I got locked up when I was 19 years old. Officer got killed in my neighborhood, not too far from my house. And they picked a guy for a $5 bag of weed. And because of his jealousy towards me, because of a situation where he claims or said I slept with his girlfriend, he wanted to destroy my life for a $5 bag of weed. So back in the early 90s, we're talking about 1996, a cop got killed in our neighborhood. So, first of all, it was like, I was working at the time. I was DJing at the time. Beautiful family, mother and father, beautiful household. So officer loses his life in our neighborhood. I remember watching it on Channel 1 News back in when it happened, and I'm blown away. So when the crime happened, like whoever did this crime, they're gonna go down.
Right.
I had no idea it was gonna be actually me that went down for this crime. And back then when Giuliani just reinstated the death penalty, Pataki reinstated the death penalty in New York City, I fell under that banner. So I was a 19-year-old kid. I got locked up for double homicide.
Never been arrested before, right?
Never. No criminal record. Going to school, going to business school, and they said that I did this crime. Like automatically overnight, I turned into an assassin and go out and kill an officer, which was just
no
insane.
Reason.
For no reason, insane. So they had me in the papers. They had me labeled in the papers as the crybaby cop killer. The face of evil. The reason I cry because imagine you're being accused for a crime you didn't commit.
Right.
And like, you have the whole NYPD, you have the media has a position. They could either exonerate you or the media could actually convict you.
True.
So before I even went to trial, they convicted me in the papers. So I was a young 19-year-old kid, was just in the comfort of my own home. I got locked up on Christmas Eve, 12 o'clock at night, put in the Christmas tree for my little brother. And one minute, like, I was at home in bed, and next minute I'm on TV, and a month or two later, I'm facing the death penalty.
What led them to you? It was the gentleman you said who was jealous of you? He
Yes.
gave up your name?
Yes, he did. He got arrested around the corner from my house for a $5 bag of weed. And they was the first one back then. They was arresting numerous people in our neighborhood.
Yeah, they was
whatever.
just grabbing people.
They was grabbing everybody. And so here's the thing about it. Once again, no criminal record, going to school, just doing the right thing. I did my best to just stay away from the things that going on in my neighborhood, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was in my
Where did
neighborhood.
you grow up? Like in what
I
neighborhood?
grew up in Corona, Queens.
Okay.
I grew up in Corona, Queens. Before I lived in Flushing. You know what I'm saying? But I've been living in Queens my whole life. So unfortunately, when that crime happened, I was just blown away. They took me to a precinct. Now the 115 precinct was right down the block from my house. They ended up taking me to the 109th precinct. My mother went to the same precinct looking for me, and they said I was never there.
What?
I was in the same precinct getting assaulted for 3 days straight until they actually extracted a coerced statement out of me. I end up making a video confession, which I didn't write. The police wrote out whatever, and during my video confession, I said that I'm being framed.
So how did they connect you? Did you know the other two gentlemen?
Well, the other guy was one of my friend. His name was Gary Johnson, and only thing he ended up getting arrested because the guy called my house. They used him as a ruse to get me out of my house. He called my house and said that your friend Carl got arrested. So apparently, like, when one of my friends gets arrested, I'm gonna try to go see what's going on with him. So I end up calling my friend Gary up. He came down to my house. Our plans was to go down to the 115 precinct to find out why our friend was being arrested. I had no idea that all these things was taking place outside of my door. The police was across the street with this guy in a van. He used my number to get me out of my house. When I came out my door, my sister was holding my little brother, who was only 5 years old at the time. When I stepped out my door, I got arrested, slammed against the wall. My co-defendant, my friend, he gets arrested. The other guy who was arrested with us, his name is Rohan Boat. I never met him a day in my life. Don't know him. He owned a Jamaican restaurant in our neighborhood. He was an older man, like 4 or 5 children.
He was a business owner.
He was a business owner, yes. We was all innocent. And they said that me and Rohan Boat went into this store on Astoria Boulevard.
Was it a check cashing place?
It was a check cashing place, that's correct. And they said that me and Rohan Boat went into the store and took 2 people's lives. But yet, during my trial, you had an eyewitness who actually came, who walked past the individuals. She said that during my trial, she said she bumped into the individuals who actually did this crime. And she said
It wasn't you.
And it wasn't me. She came to court. She said she literally bumped into the person. She described them. You had another eyewitness from across the street. She described the same people. The lady who made the 911 call, she described the same people. But yet you have a lone eyewitness who was a block away and said that he saw me running across the street and jump into a car. The reason he said what he said because he wanted to cop shop reward money. So it was no physical evidence. It was no murder weapon. My trial only consisted of written statements, a coerced video confession, a jailhouse informant with a rap sheet longer than Manute Bo's arm, and a lone eyewitness who was a block away.
This pisses me off. How this can happen.
Yeah, and I did 24 years behind that.
And it's like, why you? It's like, why? Like, you say you was home.
I was in my bed at the time when this crime happened. My mother came in the house, checked on me in my bed. My mother wanted to testify on my behalf. They said that my lawyers didn't put in an alibi of an intent, so my mother couldn't testify on my behalf. The day this crime happened, my father came to my house and took me and my brother and sister Christmas shopping. My father couldn't even testify on my behalf. So
no motive, no nothing.
Nothing.
They just saying you just got up, went to the check cashing place, and decided that you just wanted to do this.
And they said I just went back home and jumped in my bed after taking 2
right.
people's
No
lives.
money, no nothing. You just decided I just want to run outside and shoot somebody and then come back and get in my bed and relax.
No money was taken.
Makes no sense.
No money and nothing was taken. And here's the thing. The lady who came to court, she says, I know who I saw. That's not the person I bumped into that day.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that, because at 19,
Yeah.
you're not even familiar, like you said, never
didn't-
got in trouble. You're not familiar with the system.
No, I
You
wasn't.
can't speak to your parents. They don't even know where you're at, because they're being lied to.
That's right.
And told that you're not even there. So
That's
now
right.
they in the street looking for you, because they don't know where you at,
That's
right?
right.
And you being assaulted by these cops. I know they wasn't feeding you.
Yeah,
I know they
nothing.
wasn't taking care of you. So now you're almost like in a delirious state,
Yes.
trying to fight for your life and get out of here, because you don't even know what's really going on.
I didn't, when I got arrested, the funny thing about it, I remember back in the days, we used to watch Cops, we used to watch all these shows.
Right.
And the funny thing about it, we could watch all these shows all the time, but when you actually get jammed up in a situation, you don't know what to do. Here's the thing, I didn't even know my own rights. I didn't know what a Miranda laws was.
Right, like you don't have to say nothing, right?
I had no understanding of the system of nothing. So when I got locked up and I'm in this precinct, and I'm getting my behind whipped, and I looked at an officer and I said, listen, isn't this police brutality? He says, no, this is how we get things done.
And look at it today, right?
Yeah.
We look to this very day, years later, you still see the same kind of instances going on.
Yes.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So now you have to adjust as a young man, because you're still young.
Yeah, I'm still
Not
young.
even 21 years old, right?
that's-
Now you're in the system,
Yep.
and they convicted you of...
Murder one. I was facing a death penalty. The thing with a death penalty trial is after you blow trial, I remember they had wanted me to cop out. My cop out is what I end up getting sentenced to. I said, I'm not gonna cop out to something I didn't do. Me and my family, we spoke about this. My mother says, if you go on death row, she said, we're gonna come visit you. We're gonna be here for you. She said, do not cop out to something you did not do.
Right.
So during the death penalty trial, whatever, when you blow trial, you have to go, they got a thing called the penalty phase. So after you blow trial, you go through the penalty phase. The penalty phase is like they're gonna talk about all the mitigating factors in your life, like all the good things you did, the people in your community. I have never seen my father cry a day in my life. My father had to get on that stand and beg these people and cry and says, please do not kill my boy. I've never seen my father cry. My mother had to get up there. My family members, I have a cousin, his name is Speedy Claxton. He ended up going into the NBA for 10 years. He won the championship with the San Antonio Spurs. And it's like, you know, my whole family, they up there begging these people, don't take my life.
Can't even imagine.
Then what made it more deeper, I had a lone juror who didn't believe nothing the judges were saying. So during my trial, the juror actually, she asked the judge, she says, can I go to the crime scene? The judge says, no, everything you need is in this courtroom right here. So she took it upon herself, went to the crime scene. She goes to the crime scene. She starts doing her own investigative work. She writes a letter to the judge. I didn't see this letter until 7 years down the line after my conviction. In a letter, she says, I do not believe without a fact of a truth that George Bell didn't, she said he did not commit this crime. And she says, I cannot vote guilty for something that I do not believe in. And then she know they excused her off the juror and said that she was too emotionally involved in the case.
What?
But yeah,
the
she
only
said,
person that had any sense really thought about it.
she didn't believe nothing the judge said. She didn't believe nothing the juror said.
Wow.
And she didn't believe nothing. She said the case just didn't really add up to her the
sit
whole
right
time.
with her,
Yeah, it didn't sit
right.
right with her. So she took it upon herself and went and did her own investigative thing. And when she came back, she says, this young man didn't do this crime. And she said that she was in the jury room and she's like, I'm not voting guilty because I don't believe that this young man did this crime. She said, look at the facts, nothing, no murder weapon, no physical evidence. They say they took 55 latent fingerprints from the check cashing place.
None was yours.
Exactly.
How does this happen? It's just mind-blowing.
Then they said that the victims had a struggle with their assailants. The cop's pocket was ripped. Here's the thing, at the time, I was a young kid. I think I weighed like 130 something pounds.
You look like such a baby. I saw the picture. I said, oh my God, I can't even imagine you being dragged into and them beating on you. Like, I couldn't, I was like, oh my goodness.
So apparently I apparently took a trained officer down. I took another guy down. I did
You did all this, right?
Like overnight, I become a trained assassin.
Right. Like you did training day or something.
Yeah,
like
I did training day.
What's going on? You know what I mean?
Like during my trial, I was actually sitting there because I was somewhat naive to the law. And, I would thought that, they said that, all right, I'm innocent. Like the facts of the case is going to prevail. I'm going to go back home to my family. I'm going to resume my life. I was on Rikers Island from 96 to 99. Wow. I was in CMC Max. My cellmate was Joseph Watts. That was John Gotti's co-defendant.
What?
That was my cellmate.
21 years old?
I was
this
a
is
kid,
who you
yes.
sharing
Yes.
a cell with?
With John Gotti's co-defendant. And I was a kid. I was the youngest person on Rikers Island at the time. And it used to come to the point that every time I used to go to court, they placed weapons on me. I was assaulted. I got placed in a bing, which is a shoe. Every time I went to court, I had feces on my clothes. They peed on my clothes. Like, I went through like the most horrendous thing. And then when I got convicted, my first jail I went to was Attica Correctional Facility as a kid.
Oh, goodness.
So here's the thing: when you go to the penal system, and you're labeled as a cop killer, that is the worst target to have on your back.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. So
Got
I did
all that treatment.
24 years. So I did 24 years off a natural life bid.
Wow.
And
And how about the other co-defendants?
They came home too. But the thing about it, they had evidence. What really helped me to get released, they had a DD5 in 1997. In 97, they seeked the death penalty against me. They had a DD5 in 97 before they seeked the death penalty against me, a full-blown confession from one of the people who actually did this crime.
The actual perpetrator?
Yes, that one of the actual perpetrators, and they had this, and the DAs had this. They have a thing called Brady. Brady means that any information they have is favorable towards the defense, they have to turn that over.
Right.
They didn't do that. The DAs had this. They chose to bury this information. They only found that information 24 years later from the guy named Robert Majors, which was his co-defendant, but he was actually innocent. His co-defendant is the one who did the crime. He had nothing to do with that. The DAs, they had this. My lawyers had a redacted. They actually had two different ones. They had a redacted one and they had an unredacted one. The redacted one was all marked out, so we couldn't really see nothing. When we finally got the unredacted one, that one we seen the whole full-blown confession, and they actually says that I never did this crime. And the individuals actually saying how they did this crime, how they killed the trigger man, because they thought the trigger man was actually going to go to the cops and give them up. And this trigger man.
So he never got arrested for this?
Nope. The trigger man, his co-defendants end up killing him.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm sorry to hear. You wouldn't want to hear anybody, going through this.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're here. Some
Thank
people don't
you.
even make it
No, they
24
don't.
years.
Yep.
They don't even make it 4 years
I know.
in there.
Yeah.
So I can tell you're destined for something great, I don't know why, the reason.
No.
Only God knows, but I guess you're about to do what you're supposed to do now.
That's what I strive to do. But I told Reef, like, my resilience for 24 years. I had a mantra every day. I used to say this: today's the day I'm going home. Today's the day I'm going home. Even when I had lost appeals, I went to the I went to the federal courts. They rubber stamped me.
Nobody listened.
Nobody,
all these years.
you know why? Because nobody wanted to touch a case with a dead cop.
Right.
And that's the reality.
That code is serious.
Here's the thing about
right?
it. Like, they think about more of a political injunction than more like,
in a human life.
That's right.
You don't think twice that maybe this person could be innocent.
That's right.
That is how wrong it is to have him even sit a day in jail for something that he didn't have nothing to do with.
That's right.
They don't think about that part.
Right. They don't.
If they just close the file and pick up the next case,
That's
and keep it moving. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's really terrible.
Yeah.
So now you came out, and then how did you and Reef connect? I mean, is there anything else?
No.
I don't want to cut the story. I don't want to. It's just that I'm about to start crying in a minute. Like, really, I'm trying. Like, I'm blinking. I'm just like,
Like I said, I went through a lot, and so many people, like, they're so blown away because after what I went through, I went through the worst in prison.
I can imagine.
I've, like, for 24 years as a kid, I've seen the most horrendous things in prison.
I could
It's
imagine.
like, there's nothing things in prison I haven't seen, from
Oh
the
my
assaults
God.
to going to Attica, being in
Attica, Lord.
and being labeled as a cop killer in Attica. I remember being in Attica at times that they wouldn't let me out my cell. The first time I got to Attica, they had me on the wall. They have a thing called they call it the 3-card swipe. They place your hands on the wall when you get there. They have 2 palm prints on the wall. They have a thing that says, all right, with your left hand, take off your right boot. It's to actually confuse you. And when you do the wrong thing, the actual officer, he will slam your head into the wall and hit you with a rib shot. So I'm in a bullpen, so what I'm seeing is one guy did the wrong thing. His head gets slammed into the wall. He got a rib shot. They took him in a bullpen. They took him in another room. All I heard was God getting his behind whipped. I'm in my cell, just shaking in my boots. I'm like, oh my gosh. the first thing, Attica looks like a big medieval castle.
It does.
So
I mean,
when-
I've never, you know.
So when I got there, the first thing I said to myself, they're gonna kill me here. That's the first thing I said. Is like, I said that my thing is, I said, but I'm not gonna let them break me. Everything I went through in my life, I thought about my mother, I thought about my father, I thought about my family. I said, I have to work hard to get back home to my family. So my motto was, it doesn't matter what I go through or what you take me through, ain't nobody ever gonna break my spirits.
How did you navigate it?
So I guess when I was in prison for 24 years, I stayed actively involved in any program that
Right.
will keep me busy. Like, I dropped out of school when I was in the 12th grade. Don't ask me why I did that. I don't know why. I was like a few months shy to graduate. After that, you know, the first thing I did when I went to prison, whatever, they said, you really can't in jail, you really can't get a good paying job if you don't have the GED. So the first thing I did, I went and got my GED. After I got my GED, they had a family law program sponsored by Lehman College. So I actually went there.
Literally here?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
So I actually did that. I actually got involved in family law, and I worked on getting my associates.
Okay.
After my associates, my first program I did welding. So I used to do welding around the facility.
Okay.
Then after that, I jumped into the barbershop program. Then I jumped into custodial maintenance.
Right.
Then I actually got into a program called AVP. It's called Alternative Violence Program, whatever. I actually went there as a participant.
Okay.
And then I actually came back as a facilitator. So I actually used to actually teach alternative violence program in different scenarios, like what's the long-term goals, what's the short-term goals. Basically, I call it critical thinking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And basically, I tell
Yeah.
you, like, if you do this, this is
Think
going to be the
about.
short-term effect. If you do this is going to be the long-term effect,
Right,
whatever. So
right.
it came to the point that this is what I did for several years, and then I just started working in the gym as a trainer. So I did anything, and on top of that, a Muslim. So I just turned around. I stayed in the masjid. I stayed in Juma. I stayed around brothers who had the same mindset as me
Right.
to just keep me away from all the BS.
Good.
So here's the funny thing about it. I was locked up for 24 years and never had a ticket. I had the most impeccable institutional record, and they used to wonder why. I used to go see my counselors. For every 90 days, you go see a counselor. So they have a thing. They have to show you a quarterly. Every time my quarterly came up, my sentence said 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, to the sun burned out. And the first thing when they talk to me, they says, "You don't look like what I'm reading on the sheet." They said, "You don't strike me as that person."
Because I'm not.
Because I'm not. So,
Right, I'm
so
not that
it came to the
person.
point that I was in that jail for so long that people actually started believing in my innocence because how I move. Nobody's gonna really know who you are and what you're about. They're only gonna know is through your ways and actions. So I had to show that I'm a better person.
Right.
And even though I was locked up like a caged animal, I'm not gonna act like a caged animal.
Right.
So
Those
I gotta.
are wise words. Well, no matter where you at.
Yes.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yes.
How you
Yep.
move dictates. You know.
Yes. Yes. So you know.
What a blessing for that. That you was able to.
Yeah.
You know. Wow. I mean, this is such an ordeal. Like
Yeah.
I know so many officers correction officers writing about the system, and
Yeah.
even from the outside to the,
Yes.
you know,
Of course.
it's unfortunate
It is. It
what
is.
we have to go through, and you know, no amount of money
It
can,
can't.
That's
can
right.
give
That's
you
right.
any of that time
right.
back.
You
You know, the suffering and being away from your family and
Yes.
being alone and being subject to get beat because somebody had a bad day or somebody got an ego or whatever the reason may be. You know.
I went through all of
I
that.
know.
I went through
Especially
all of
Attica. I mean, I could imagine. I mean, and the caliber of people that done certain type of acts up there is
It's
crazy
very-
for somebody who've never done it. You know, that's
Yeah.
crazy that you would be sitting across the cafeteria with people that, you know, that really done some heinous things. So,
Listen, imagine just waking up in the morning, you're sitting eating breakfast, and a guy across from you gets into a knife fight with somebody, and he just turns around, and you're just eating your food, and you watching a guy getting harpooned through his cheek with a makeshift steel pick, whatever, and you're
Whatever
sitting,
they could put
and
together.
whatever they could put together, you know. So just fast forward, and you know, I finally came home. I've been home for 3 years now. When I first came home, they released me on a Brady violation, so they was gonna basically try to re-indict me, which I know they wasn't gonna do.
What?
Yeah, so
they still wasn't, they still
they
didn't want to let go?
They
Like,
still wouldn't let go. So it took me 90 days. I went back to court, and I finally got exonerated. So after I finally got exonerated, you know, fast forward, and like for me, I've always had like strong aspirations. Like when I was young, I was a DJ. Like I've always loved hip hop. Like I'm just not a fan of hip hop. I'm a fan of the culture.
Right.
So, funny thing about meeting Reef, you know, I was on social media one day, like, you know, it's like I'm looking at I'm like, first I just seen one of his music clips, and I'm like, yo, this dude is super nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just blown away just listening to like his lyrics. But here's the thing about it: the way he raps, and it's like, it's not no mumble rap. It's not no. I told somebody one day, I said, we've been rapping about rims and tires for so long, I'm surprised we haven't become one.
Right, right. Good point.
Yeah,
right.
so I just really looked at it, and I just really took a liking to his music, and I'm like, I just became a fan of his music. And then a guy named A.O. Biggs one day, they did a song together, and I asked Biggs, I said, yo, I would love to meet this guy and just talk to him, whatever, because like before I even met him, all of my posts is what I'm posting is music. I'm making reels, and I'm just loving like everything.
Awesome.
I'm just loving everything he's doing without him
Right.
even knowing, and I'm just loving his music. It's just that what he was talking about. Reef talks about things that people actually go through on a daily basis. He speaks about what the common working man goes through, what a person like in my situation went through. Like he has a type of music that I can actually sit there and play it with my mother, my father, my children, my grandmother. I don't have to like, oh, let me fast forward this or let me clip out this part. He actually makes clean, beautiful music. But the thing about it is music that actually touches your soul.
Right.
So when I actually
co-sign all of that.
So when I heard his music, I was like, yo, I just love what he's doing. And then I got a chance to meet him one day before we even spoke with him, and I just actually invited him to my house one day, and he was blown away because first time I met him, I said, come to my crib. And now here's the thing, I said, I'm living in my big, beautiful home, and he was shocked that I actually invited him to my home. And the first time we met, we just got into such a dope, amazing vibe. Like we was talking like we knew each other for years, but we both had a love for music.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, listen, my man, I said, I really had no idea of what I wanted to do musically, but I just knew I wanted to work with him, and I just still feel like I had a lot in the tank that I just wanted to still do musically. And I just said, listen, my man, let's just do dope music. That's why our label is called Freedom Wave Music.
Freedom Wave,
It's because it's just not Freedom Wave, and Freedom Wave is a lifestyle. It's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of how you move. Freedom Wave means free of mind, free of the hypocrisy, free of the BS, free to do what you want to do in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just linked up and just started making dope, amazing music. This is my brother. I love him, man.
Right.
And,
yeah, I saw the video when we opened up the segment. That's a little tease for you, so you can think about what's about to come, right? And that was fire right there.
Yeah.
When it was sent to me, I was like, "Where's the rest of it?" I was like, "Is this a whole?" He's like, "No, that's a teaser." I'm like, "Oh man, I need to see like it leaves you wanting more. Like what's going down?" So tell us about the Freedom Wave.
So, like you said, you know, it's a state of mind. It's basically, you know, so my story is, of course, for people who don't know, my name is Reef.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's
right,
cool.
I'm still like,
it's cool.
yeah.
For people who don't know, my name is Reef Hustle. You know what I'm saying? I go pretty long ways back. I was actually one of the big pun artists, man, and just keep it like long story short, he passes away. You know what I'm saying? I lived with him. I actually lived with him.
Right when things was really about to jump, right?
I actually lived with him for a while. You know what I'm saying? Almost a year. And he passes away. You know what I mean? Then he, you know, of course, you know, it got rough, but I kept on going. You know, kept on doing music, and then I met a brother. He was like your
mentor. He was helping you with your music career and everything.
Yeah, he was helping with the music and everything. I also helped him with the music as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We were just being creative. You know what I'm saying?
Collaborating
which is crazy.
together. That's dope.
Which is really crazy. And then some years later, rest in peace, my brother Fred, the Godson. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And
boy, he was at his peak too.
He was at his peak as well.
Man.
Two of the illest MCs that came out the Bronx, like pinnacle MCs.
Right.
So he passes away.
Such a nice person.
Absolutely.
Like his spirit was like he was very, very nice. I got to interview him a couple of times. Rest in peace to him, but he was a dope soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He passes away from COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, just when that happened, after that. Months later, my mom's passed away.
Oh, boy,
you know, then a year and a half after that, my brother passed away.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I kept on doing music.
Of losses.
Yep, just a whole lot of losses, you know what I mean? But I kept on doing music. You know what I'm saying? That was my passion. That was really the only thing that was going to keep me alive. You know what I mean?
Did it kind of heal you? Help you to heal? I can't say heal you.
I'm still healing.
And help with the process?
Yeah.
Getting it out?
Yeah, absolutely. I just kept on doing it. I just kept on doing it. Then when me and my brother linked up, it just became something. It was just really, and I keep on saying that this is God's work. You know what I mean? It's really not mine. You know what I mean? It's really God's work, you know?
Right.
And how we really connect bonded-wise and spiritual-wise is that neither one of us gave up. You understand?
Right.
Neither one of us
Right.
gave up.
This is definitely a story about strength.
Yep.
Okay? That's what this is a story about.
Yep.
Because, like I said, a lot of people wouldn't make it
Yep.
through what you've been through.
Yeah.
You know, they would have been broke from
Yep.
the system.
Exactly.
So this is a story of strength right
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
You know?
And same thing with me, you know, even with the music, you know, continue to do. I've seen so many people, you know, get in and get out the game. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of people come past, you know, come and go. And but I've seen a lot of people just like, yo, you know what? I can't do this no more. Within 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I can't do this no more. I'm going to go get me a security job, or I'm going to go get the job.
Right, people
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, people give up.
It's not an easy task, you know. Like you just have to be the one that believes. You can't look for that gratification and that source from outside of you.
And that's
you
what
just
Freedom
gotta,
Wave is about.
Okay.
That's exactly what
I'm
Freedom
loving
Wave is
it.
about.
I'm loving it. So what we saw the trailer of, what was that from?
That was a video called Wavy Nights, which is it's a movie. It's not really a video. Yeah, it's really a movie. It's really a movie. We wanted to take, you know, my man G always says this, you know, we just wanted to take it to the next level, to not just, you know, no disrespect to anybody else, but just not doing videos in front of the store. You know what I'm saying? Or not doing videos, you know, or just, you know, stuff like that. We just wanted to give it more of a visual, more of a something that people can really like go back to, constantly go back to. You know what I'm saying? But even on top of that, I mean, you listening to the bars are strong, and the bars are relative, you know what I'm saying?
Production is tight,
Production
like
is
everything
tight.
about it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we just on our own wave. We're on our own wave.
The visual is dope, like the whole package is what we're talking about. As soon as you see, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what's that?
The
Like, is that
concept
a
of that.
movie? Like, what's going on? Where can I watch that? Tubi, where that's at?
Right,
You wouldn't
right.
even think, you
That's
know
right.
what I mean? I thought it was a full-blown production and you was
Right.
just showing a trailer from it,
Right.
you know?
We did the video in Miami. You know, we had, I mean, people are really going to get to see what really happens with Freedom Wave.
I'm excited.
With Mr. George Bell, you know what I'm saying, and Reef Hustle. It's crazy.
Can I get like, okay, can I get
It's crazy.
Oh. All right. The other guests are here. And I'm sorry that, you know, but let's, okay. So, what else can we expect? Like, what is up and coming?
Okay, so we have an album called War 2.
Okay.
War stands for What About Reef, right? And then what happens is I meet up with George Bell. This is happening. So as I meet up, as I meet up with George, I give you an actual story of what I've been through.
Okay.
When Pun passed away, Fred passed away. At one point, I got divorced. You know, my son got diabetes. My youngest son, he has diabetes. You know, so it's just like just so much pain. You know what I mean? I let you know what the pain is about. But then I also go into my brother passing away, and then I also go into my mom passing away. But I'm celebrating my mother and I'm celebrating my brother.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
and then
right.
you know, I talk about relationships, you know, family relationships, things that we really go through on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean?
Relatable topics to us.
Right,
like, you know,
relatable
not
topics.
just- yeah.
And that's what Reef Hustle music is, you know.
Yeah, it
Reef
is.
Hustle music is that. And I just basically we're going to touch the people. Not we want to. We're going to touch
You
the people.
are,
Yeah,
you
and from the
are.
resilience and from, you know, just never stopping.
Right.
We freedom waving.
Freedom
We
Wavers.
freedom waving.
Freedom waving,
So
baby.
War 2 is the album, right?
Is it out?
No,
Or
it's
you
not
working
out yet.
on it?
Yeah, no, it's not out yet. It will be soon. It will be on torchville.com.
Okay.
Yep, and also torchville.com. You can subscribe. Also YouTube,
Subscribe.
Reef Hustle, REF HUSTLE, the #1. You subscribe to that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you know Instagram, Reef Hustle _ Mr. Freedom Wave.
Right.
You know, also on Instagram. The album is going to be super amazing. We got producers like Buck Wild from DITC. We got producers like my man Dennis Agony Jenkins. He did a lot of stuff for Iggy Azalea, Justin Bieber, and a lot of things that go on with that.
Big names.
Yeah, I got Heat
Big
Makers.
names.
Yeah, I got Heat Makers on there who
Okay.
produced for Dipset and everything.
Wow.
You know, I got. I mean, it's just it's so
Please
much
invite
dope.
me to the premiere. Okay.
Absolutely.
Don't forget about me. That's
Yeah.
gonna be the place to be. That's gonna be hot.
And he actually made a song about my whole life, about what I've been through. It's called the name of the song is called King George, and
How I Feel.
It's called How I Feel,
Good.
King George, and he actually just spoke about everything I went through in my life in such a beautiful, illustrated way.
And
I
this
know
is
it
our
is.
album.
I know it is.
Absolutely, this is our album. So the 2 stands for him and I.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It stands for him and I.
I'm excited for y'all.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited for you. You know, like
Yeah.
both of you. Like I'm
Thank you.
excited
Yeah.
because this is a whole new phase.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Whole new collaboration, whole new phase, and it feels good.
Yes,
Even
sir.
I'm
Yes.
not even a part, but it feels
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
So you know
Yes.
something good gonna come out
yeah.
of it,
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure.
I appreciate y'all
Thank
for
you.
coming
I appreciate
and
you
sitting
having
and
us.
sharing your story with me tonight.
Thank you.
You
No problem.
know?
Yep.
And we have a video. Make sure you follow them, please, on social media.
That's right.
And just follow the wave, y'all. Support positive people that's doing things out here, you know, and we all need that.
That's right.
But let's check out this video from Reef Hustle.
My brother.
My brother.
Check it out.
Where the balloons go? The balloons went in the air.
Look at the boat.
They went in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they went all the way up there. You see it? It's dedicated to Ron Benefit. It's dedicated to Big Pun. It's dedicated to Fred the God. My brothers. If you got a brother out there, point at your brother, let him know you love him. My brother.
Turned on the TV this morning. They had all this foreign shit. They ain't have shit on my brother, man. Hey, Doe.
Hey, y'all!
What's up?
Freedom Wave.
We still got one brother left, man.
My brother. Yeah, I celebrate the life of my brother. If you don't know right now, you discover we get mad at one another, but you still my brother. Yo, Grand Rising, nothing as pure as this man rhyming. I Reef Hustle the kid in my assignment. The life is aligning along with divine timing. I'm pointing to the sky, see a comet. I see my brother. You always show love to everybody, my brother. Inspire people, good advice, my brother. Made people mad, and that's facts. But my brother will give you the shirt off his back, my brother. Forever hold it down, forever my support, even if I'm not around. You talk about me, how you sound is going down. Betty break somebody's jaw if you spoke about a bounce. Always told the truth when I ain't really wanna hear it. But what am I to do if I ain't one with his opinions? I sent him some music, some joints he wasn't feeling. He always had faith like one day I'll make $1 million. I wish you was here, how I better state it. But when you left the earth, I was devastated. Then you went to the sky and you elevated. To my bro, Ron Benefit, I dedicated. This is for my brother, my brother, my brother. Yeah, I celebrate the life of my brother. If you don't know right now, you discover we get mad at one another, but you still my brother. Yo, I swear when I was writing this down, I couldn't think. Mumbled in, jumbled up words, I'm in a state. I bought a short thing off the chain, we couldn't link. But I gotta take a moment, sit down, I need a drink. There's some things that I really wanna tell you. From the last text, Brick Bro, I could've called instead of mail you. Thank you for the wisdom, now I really understand. And thank you for the discipline on how to be a man. I wanna say I honor you, brother, I salute you. Thank you for the help when I was down and it was crucial. I never forget the day my mama died. And you and Shane saw me break down, I'm floored inside. And back when Pun passed, then when Fred passed, I felt like my days on this earth just wouldn't last. I wished I could tell you that I love you. A firm handshake with a smile and didn't hug you. I'm giving you my pain through this physical, I mean spiritual. My brother's memorials was beautiful. I'm holding back my tears so hard when I reminisce on the truth, my God. My brother, my brother. Yeah, I celebrate the life of my brother. If you don't know right now, you discover we get mad at one another, but you're still my brother, my brother. It's dedicated, Ron Benefit. It's dedicated, the Big Pun. It's dedicated, Fred the God. My brothers. You got a brother out there, and you love your brother. Point at your brother, let him know you love him. I'm gone.
Thank you for tuning in to the Just Give Me the Mic show. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we love bringing it to you. Now don't forget to catch us on Optimum TV and the MNN2 network every Sunday night. Check your local listings for the times. And for bookings or to share your thoughts, shoot us an email at justgivemethemic12@gmail.com. And let's keep that creativity flowing, and we'll see you the next time on the Just Give Me the Mic show.